Hey, what I missed for one and the same, Draft Ronin here, with a new Let's Play series here on the channel. Spore has got to be one of my favorite game series of all time. Now, I got started on this channel partly because of it, and now, over 4 years after my first Spore videos, I'm ready for the ultimate Spore Let's Play. Now, this series will be uploaded every other Wednesday, alongside my 2 LPs going on. This will not have any impact on the new episodes to come out for those 2 series. But with that out of the way, let's get going. Simply put, Spore is a creative game. You can create animals, civilizations, buildings, spaceships, whatever you want basically. There are 2 modes to the game, create and survive. Much like the real world, you, or rather your creation, must evolve and prosper in a world full of other players' creations. Some are friendly and cute, some are dangerous, and some are just weird. When starting a game of Spore for the first time, you will have to unlock each of the stages in order to play through that stage if you are to start another save. This episode will focus on the first, and quite literally, the smallest stage, the cell stage. When you choose your planet, you have the option to play either as a carnivore or herbivore. This merely just determines your diet, and you're in no way obligated to stay on that dietary route. If you don't like the way your cell looks, you can simply click the back arrow to change back to the diet choice and choose the same diet before or a different diet, your choice, and you will randomly get a pre-made cell that you will play as. Expert tip: if you can get a cell with 2 sets of eyes, take it, because you can sell a second set of eyes for DNA points. This extra DNA can be helpful later on. Upon starting a new game, you can have a theme chosen for your planet. This is for people who may have Sporecasts, buddies, and great creations, etc. Don't worry about it. We'll just be doing no theme. For this LP, I'll be doing it on normal difficulty. Hard and easy modes are, as the name suggests, hard and easy. And then there's the name of the planet. It can be randomly generated or named by you. You cannot change it once you named it, however. For this LP, we'll name it LPS. Get it? LPS? That's not funny. The cutscene before playing the game gives the player some insight on how life came to your planet that you just named. It's based on the theory that all life originated from a single source and then dispersed by the means of asteroid and comet-like bodies that hold the small life forms landing on these habitable planets. Now, before we truly begin playing this game, there's a few things I'd like to address. By default, there are in-game hints to help guide players through the controls, objectives, and tell them what to do next. I'm not going to be going over most of the obvious hints that are given to you by default. Instead, I'll be going over more intermediate and advanced gameplay tips and tricks. Number 2, I have a few expansions and mods added to my game. If you happen to see a part or feature that isn't in your game, it is probably because you don't have the same mod or expansion that I have. I'll be covering mods in a different video, but otherwise, I won't be showing off features that aren't a part of your standard vanilla core Spore, at least for now. We emerged from our meteor to find ourselves in the microbial world. The only other cells around are just minnows, a harmless plant-eating cell. If you're a carnivore, these make for easy prey. As we grow, we encounter more cells, from the medium carnivore Goldie to the armed yet peaceful herbivore Pokey. The cutscene that plays shortly after reaching the growth shows a large carnivore cell known as Chomper devouring a poor Pokey and leaving behind a part. This is the perfect segue, actually, for talking about the cell editor. A greatly simplified version of the creature creator The cell creator gives you access to a mere 12 parts total. These parts are categorized into 4 groups: mouths, weapons, movement, and eyes. There are 3 parts to each category, and each part, aside from the spike, jaw, filter mouth, flagella, and the 3 eyes, are all optional towards picking up and collecting. Depending on your dietary choice before the game began, you will either be equipped with either the jaw or filter mouth. If you decide that you want to be the opposite diet than what you initially chose, don't worry, you can change mouths. Eventually you'll have enough DNA points that you can even equip multiple mouths, and may be even able to eat plant and meat chunks as you go along. Each of these mouths costs 15 points, so make sure you have enough DNA points collected if you want to go that route. There is also a dedicated omnivore mouth, the proboscis, that you can collect at a couple different points in the cell stage at the cost of 25 DNA points. While the proboscis mouth is nice and all, you won't be able to eat meat chunks with it, so bear that in mind. I personally like equipping both the jaw and proboscis mouths so I can eat anything and everything without having to worry about the meat chunk problem mentioned earlier. The next group of parts is the weapons. From the mandatory cutscene we saw a bit ago, we have pretty much by default the spike. It is a great weapon for both offense and defense, as it pokes and pierces anyone who gets too close. And at the measly cost of 10 DNA points, it's a very affordable and dependable weapon. Later on, by either hunting or finding meteor shards, we can obtain poison. This part is great for those pesky predators that follow you around, as it kills them in a matter of seconds, as they're too close for comfort. You can even equip multiple poison parts to increase the amount of poison your cell expels. This part costs just 15 DNA points, and is probably one of, if not the best weapon to collect. The last weapon part is the electric, which is very similar to poison in its use. You fire electrical bolts at nearby cells, severely damaging or killing them in the process. What makes it inferior to poison, however, is that it takes time to charge up the electricity, while poison is constantly spewing out, well, poison. You can equip multiple bulbs, electric bulb parts, to decrease the charge-up time and power up your electric shock. But this part costs 25 DNA points a pop, so good luck getting 50 DNA points before moving on to the next stage. Movement is an important factor in this microbial world, and there are 3 parts essential for staying mobile. By default, your cell will be equipped with a single set of flagella. This part costs 15 DNA points and grants +1 in speed. Speed in the cell stage is measured on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being the slowest and 5 being the fastest. Your cell, by default, is 1 in speed, and by adding parts can be increased until it reaches 5. It is simple yet effective. Next is the cilia part, and much like the flagella, it costs 15 DNA points and grants +1 speed. However, it has an additional effect, allowing the player cell to make fast turns. And lastly, there is the jet, at 25 DNA points. It grants +2 in speed. If paired with the cilia, you will have a speed demon cell that can catch up and maneuver through most any situation, really. Then there are the eyes. I'm not going to go over them too much because they are only there to ensure you don't play in darkness. Trust me, being blind in this game doesn't pay. If you want all the parts, there are certain cells you'll have to kill in order to receive that part. Every cell has a certain part, such as a cell with a jet, electric bulbs, that will have a tiny yellow mark next to their name indicating that it has an uncollected part. These cells are to keep an eye out for and are as follows: Booster, Squirty, Pinky, Punky, Nosy, Buzzy, Needle Buzzy, Pufffish, Snorf, and Blodo. They will all have a part to collect, and you will have to hunt them down and kill them in order to collect their part. Once you reach a certain point in the cell stage, your little cell will grow a brain and be ready to go on to the next stage of the game. The button that allows you to move onward can also be pressed at any time beforehand to give you an idea of your cell's evolutionary path and how many billions of years have passed since the day you emerged from the meteor shard. But with that all said and done, it's time to move on to the creature stage in the next episode of the Ultimate Spore LP. See you all next time as we crawl onto land and find ourselves in an alien world.